Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are on the planet. I am Akelo Roberts, and you're listening to the talk, listening or watching on YouTube as well, the Talking Football with Akelo Roberts podcast, distributed by Buffalo Fanbase. Shout out to the big homies Justice and Ryan. Once again, I'm here with my brother, the big honcho, the big ravioli, the head honcho, Anthony Roberts II. And what's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on, bro? How you doing? Everything's good over here.
Nice, man. I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling, bro. I got a lot of hot takes. Spitting it like Jadakiss back in his prime. A lot of hot.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm gonna burn your eyebrows off too with this spitting this hot fire. Like Dylon.
Nah, man. But let's go back. Let's start, man. Obviously everybody knows the NFL draft just passed. We saw a lot of big things happen. My first one I want to go off. This was probably like one of the more like loaded drafts in recent years, as far as like prospects being like bona fide. I remember I was watching the draft because I watched a lot of college football, and just like probably I think like 90% of the players I saw that got drafted, I was like, yeah, they deserve to be drafted. Like they're really good players. Like that's a lot that happens in recent years. Isn't like how it was like the sixth, seventh round? That's like draft like a bunch of bums that no one's heard of before, or like you know what bums? That I didn't really see a lot of this. Um, yeah. What overall? What were your thoughts on the draft?
I think the draft obviously was defense heavy. I think the draft next year is going to be defense heavy too as well. Just because of some of the prospects who dominated this year, they were sophomores, like Will Anderson from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that there were a lot more difference makers on defense as far as prospects in this year's draft. And the top five showed it. I mean, you had Travon Walker, Hutchinson, Stingley. Who was the fourth pick?
Sauce Gardner.
Who?
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner. And then the guy from Oregon, the defensive end. So the top, yeah. So the top five were all defense. I think the last time that happened, I want to say it was in the late '80s, early '90s, and those top five picks, if I'm not mistaken, I think only 2 or 3 of them became something. But yeah, it was interesting to see see the guys go where they went. It was interesting as well to see Bill Belichick thinking he's the smartest guy in the room by picking a guy from Tennessee, Chattanooga,
Yeah.
who everybody had as like a third or fourth round. Yeah. Did you see when he picked him? Did you see the Rams were laughing at him?
Yeah, Hey, you know, I saw they were saying that basically when they did that trade, they actually want the guy they wanted had just gotten drafted the pick before Devin Lloyd from Utah, the linebacker. So they were kind of like asked out, and the Belchers just started panicking and made a big decision.
He picked the guy from Tennessee, Chattanooga, who was a third or fourth rounder. Like, dude, what are you doing? And granted, yeah, he's hit in his history with the Pats. He's hit on some players, but man, there have been some massive misses. Very, very massive misses. I mean, the pick 2 years ago seems like a massive miss. The wide receiver from Arizona State.
Oh yeah, N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, I mean, I can go Chad Jackson from Florida, miss. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of misses.
Would you consider Lawrence Maroney a miss?
He was solid, but as a running back, how they used him, the tread went off that tire pretty quickly. You notice he didn't get a second contract, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's had some terrible picks the past going on 10 years now. I think the last great picks I think he really had was the whole Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski draft. I don't think he's had any other hit since, really.
Brandon Spikes is a draft too.
Brandon Spikes is in that draft too. Yeah, he's yeah. It's not the best. It's not the best.
So I want to talk about some of the guys I really liked in the draft. So someone that I think was a massive coup that was like a great pick was Chris Olave to the Saints. This guy, because I'm a Nebraska fan. Nebraska played him 3 years in a row. This guy might be this guy, like, as far as having a Jamar Chase type rookie season, I think Chris Olave might be the closest to having that potential, because that guy was so smooth in college. Like, he just made everything look easy. Like, he was like, smooth operator.
Oh, he's
smooth operator. Like that dude is smooth, bro. Like, he's just crazy. Like, obviously, if New Orleans get a QB that can get him the ball, because I don't trust Jameis Winston at all. I think he might have a great rookie. I think he's probably out of all the receivers drafted in the first round. I think he's the safest bet to have a great career.
Yeah, I think he's. You think about it. When you think about a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson kind of immediate impact at wide receiver, which rarely happens. I think before Justin Jefferson the previous year, and then Jamar Chase this past year, I think the only other receiver who had an immediate impact like that was I want to say Randy Moss, his rookie year.
You might be right. Actually, wait, no, didn't Deshaun Jackson have a good rookie year?
Yeah, he only had like 900 receiving yards, so 900 receiving yards and like 6 or 7 touchdowns. I mean, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, their rookie years, I mean, they had like over 1,500 yards receiving.
Oh yeah. You mean like on that level, like being the best
yeah,
in the
like
league.
best receiver in the league level. That's what I mean. Like, he's coming into the league, and after his one season, he's like one of the top 5. He is one of the top 3 or 4 wide receivers in the game. Mm-hmm. I think Olave, I've watched him. I watched him for 3 years too. Torching Nebraska. I always felt. I mean, he did. I mean, that guy, he runs extra smooth, fast routes. I think the thing that separates Jamar Chase from him is I think Jamar Chase can run more of the route tree, and I think Jamar Chase is more of a complete receiver. He can run. He has the speed to run by you, but I think he runs more of the route tree. He's a complete receiver. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Olave, I mean, there's no need to run the route tree when you're just running by everybody. I mean, ask Randy Moss.
Real, yeah. That is true.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he looks with the Saints, because I got to say, out of as far as the most dominating receivers, like through the past 2 years I've seen, it's been him, and it's been, I think, Jameson Williams 1 year at Alabama this past year before he got injured. It's just like, I've never seen a receiver that dominant in college football since Randy Moss. Like, unstoppable, unreal. Now, these guys are getting to the NFL. Jameson Williams, which I was shocked that he's 6'1". I was totally shocked. I thought he was like 5. I thought he was going to measure at like 5'9", 5'10", but he's legit 6'1". So I think Olave is like 6 foot. I think the thing that they're going to have to worry about though is, these corners getting up in them. In college, they were the fastest, they were the quickest, they were this, they were that. In the NFL, you're gonna have guys like the corner from the Saints all up in your grill. You're gonna have guys like the DB from the Dolphins all up in your grill. You're gonna have Patrick Peterson all up in your grill. You're gonna have Jalen Ramsey all up in your grill, and they can and they can fly too, and they're long and they're lengthy. So I think receivers, it's always difficult to see how they transition, just because they were the fastest guy in the field in college. Now guys are just as fast, and they're bigger and stronger, and they're gonna have to deal with that. I think they're gonna have to deal with that. I think the receiver who went to Atlanta, Drake London, he's gonna have to deal with DBs just being faster than him, because I think he's a big-bodied receiver, but I don't think he's gonna be good. I wish him the best, man. I don't think he's gonna be good.
I didn't understand his hype at all.
Yeah, I didn't understand his hype at all. He's just a big possession receiver, and you pick him with like a top 10 pick. Nah, man. I feel like he's Mike Williams reincarnated. He's Dwayne Jarrett reincarnated. That's exactly who he is.
Really.
And he didn't even put up those numbers. Yeah, the past 2 years, man, Atlanta, that front office, I don't know what the hell they're doing, because last year they should have picked Justin Fields. They picked Kyle Pitts. This year they realized, we need a quarterback. You've been needing a quarterback since Matt Ryan shit the bed and turned the Super Bowl over. You needed a quarterback. So you kept Matt Ryan like 3 years too longer than needed to be. Last year was a quarterback's draft. You had Justin Fields falling to you, local kid. You went Kyle Pitts. And then this year, ain't no quarterback, so you picked Drake London. Like, I don't know what they're doing. And then you trade Matt Ryan to Indianapolis. Like, there's no sense of direction with that squad at all. And then you bring in Marcus Mariota? Give me a break. Marcus Mariota. You might as well should have kept Matt Ryan. That made no sense whatsoever. Whatsoever.
For real. The QB that they drafted, though, Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati, I actually really like him. Like, he was one of my favorite QBs in the draft. I think he's going to be really good.
I think he's going to be good. He just didn't look good against Alabama in the playoffs. But I mean,
that's Alabama.
Yeah, that's Alabama. You know what I mean? And and he was shorthanded. You know what I mean? Give him some, give him Kyle Pitts. Give him some playmakers on defense. Give him Grady Jarrett on defense. Give him Deion Jones. People to make plays, like legitimate NFL talent, and let's see what he can do. But I felt last year they should have drafted Justin Fields, and then this year I really felt like Atlanta Falcons, and the Miami Dolphins should have taken a chance on Malik Willis. He fell to Tennessee, and Ryan Tannehill is saying, yeah, I'm not here to mentor him. Yeah, because because their job to get took. That's why. Listen, I know about the Ryan Tannehill experience. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. I know about the Ryan Tannehill experience, and Tennessee fans have seen the Ryan Tannehill experience in the playoffs for the past 2-3 years. That's what it was always so funny when he got that second $100 million deal from the Tennessee Titans, and everybody was just like, "Yo, he's a good quarterback." I'm like, okay, I was just like, you know what? Hey, just wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. And what happened? The past 2-3 years in the playoffs, you load up the box on Derrick Henry and make Ryan Tannehill beat you. And he can, because he's Ryan Tannehill. Like, come on, give me a break. So they did the right thing by picking Malik Willis, but I really think the Dolphins and the Falcons, I think the Dolphins mainly, man, because the Dolphins right now are built to win. I mean, Tyreek Hill, you got you get a quarterback who actually has an arm. I'm still part of Tua, but I feel like with the speed you have on offense, you want to stretch the field. Malik Willis has the strongest arm in the draft. He's going into the league as one of the strongest arm quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I felt like they should have took a shot with him in the second round. I would have. But I just think, that those things stood out to me.
For real, man. I was gonna say, man. Actually, before I get to that, I was gonna say, I want to talk about Trayvon Walker real quick.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker. Obviously, everybody knows. If you don't know, they're living under a rock. But Trayvon Walker was also number one to the Jaguars. And I was trying to say, I respect his production. I mean, I respect his athleticism. He's 6'4", 270, running a 4.5 40. You're a freak of nature. You deserve to. You deserve to get the thing. You deserve to get that you deserve to get that you deserve to get the praise. But he didn't produce at all, Georgia.
He didn't. Listen. When you're 6'5", 270, you run a 4.5, 38-inch vertical leap, and you're showing that athletic ability, you're supposed to flash in college. Like, if you're the number one pick, I think Mel Kiper said it best. This is the first time someone's been the number one pick and they haven't made one all-conference team or one all-American team at all. That is alarming. That in itself is alarming. He hasn't made an all-conference team or all-American team in this entire time in Georgia. Not just that, when you have those measurables, 6'5", 270, 4'5", 38-inch vertical leap, when you watch you play, you should leap off the screen. When I say leap, like flash like Micah Parsons at Penn State, flash like Jadeveon Clowney at South Carolina, flash like the defensive end for the Browns who went to Texas A&M. Flash like that. Flash like just flash like a Mario Williams. Like those guys flash. When you see them play, like, okay, I can see why this guy went number one. His measurables and his times are not matching the film. The film is showing something completely different, where he's timing something completely different. If you're timing and having these measurables, the film needs to match that. The film's not matching that. This reminds me all over again of back in the mid-90s, the Philadelphia Eagles drafted a guy named Mike Mamula with a top 10 pick from Boston College. And he was the first player to really study for the combine, to really like beat the combine. Before then, guys trained, but not like that. He was the first player to actually train for these tests. And ran at 6'5", 250, ran 4.40, bench press 225 35 times, 40 vertical leap, 4-1 shuttle. And when he got to the NFL, he retired with like 3 sacks. So with these kind of measurables, man, like you should be able to, at least in college, you should be able to flash. I need to see a play. Like Micah Parsons flashed at Penn State. And Micah Parsons measurables, the 4.43, that showed on film. That suddenness, that explosiveness showed on film. Jadeveon Clowney, that 4.5, 4.4 at 260, that explosion showed on film. Myles Garrett, the 4.4 at 270, that showed like he was sudden, he was explosive. Like, I mean, even Julius Peppers exploded. That showed on film. Like, the times is not matching up to the film. Something's off, and I feel like Jacksonville, and it's not his fault. I think Jacksonville just overdrafted him. That's what I think. I think Jacksonville just overdrafted him, and they're gonna be paying for it. I think for the next 3-4 years. I know the defensive line coach, Preston Buckner. He played in the league for a long time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's gonna have a tough job trying to get him, you know what I'm saying, acclimated to being a pass rusher, because you don't get picked number 1 overall and produce 7-8 sacks. You need to be double digits every year, 15, 16 sacks, 15, 16 sacks, 15, 16 sacks. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. For me, if they were going to go defensive end, I do like Hayden Hutchinson, but for me, I was getting Chris Long vibes with Hayden Hutchinson. He's going to be a solid player. He's going to be polished, but he may not produce the sacks that you want from a number 1 overall pick. He may not be that dominating force that you need from a number 1 pick. He's going to be solid, but he's not going to be dominant. I think, and the thing about Aiden Hutchinson is, I think he's already coached up. I think he's already at a ceiling. I don't think he's going to get any better. I think this is it. He's excellently coached. I think his technique is amazing. I think all these things about him. But I think if you can coach up the defensive end from Oregon, if you can coach up Jordan Davis, it's really messed up that David Ojabo blew out his Achilles at Michigan, because he is still young. I mean, I watched them play Michigan a lot last year, and Hutchinson was good, man, but Ojabo, man, that dude flashed too. They both flashed. I like Ojabo because Ojabo really flashed, and he was still learning the game. So yeah, man, yeah. So that's how I feel about the number 1 pick. I just think that it's alarming. Like I said, number 1 overall pick has not made an all-conference team or all-American team in college. That's frightening.
Speaking of another player that Georgia defense, if you just want to if you want to explain it real quick, why do you think Nakobe Dean failed so far?
I think this is time. I mean, I knew from watching Georgia, watching them play last year, he was the most dominating player on that defense. I'm like, oh my God, who is this guy flying around like this? And then, once they show close up video of him like in the huddle and whatnot around the other players, I immediately said to myself, oh my God, he is tiny. He is tiny. And I think that's what affected him. He's tiny. I mean, Georgia had him listed, I think, as 6 foot or 6'1", 230. He came to the combine measuring at 5'11", close to 5'10", 229 pounds. I think that's what scared off teams, and that's why the other Walker kid, the other linebacker, went in the first round to the Packers. I think.
Yeah, Quay
Walker, the size was a factor, and I don't think he ran a 40. He never ran a 40. I think though, man, his instincts, man. I think he's a good player. I just think his size, he may not be able to hold up in the NFL for his size, and I think that's why he fell. His size. I will say this though, man. He sure was stunting on him the Thursday night. Inside the green room at the draft. He was wearing like a pink suit, a little pimp hat, a little white gun holster thing that the people be wearing now. I'm like, okay, he looking fly. And that man didn't even get picked in the first round or the second round. I'm like, that's embarrassing, man.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Him and Malik Willis, man. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, did Malik Willis go to the draft?
He was there. He was in the green room.
Oh wow, damn, man, that's messed up, man.
Yeah, but I thought Malik Willis was the best QB in the draft.
I thought so too. Pittsburgh didn't think so, but we'll see. Listen, I seen Kenny Pickett play. I think Kenny Pickett exploited a weak ACC last year. Everybody was just weak. Everybody was just terrible. I don't think Kenny Pickett's going to be good like that, but that's just me. That's just me.